Hey, hey, wow, boy, golly, motherfuckers, we are live. That red light says we're fucking live, and well, by golly, I guess we're live. Anyway, there is a possibility that somebody's trying to watch this stream on another stream. I posted this on Facebook as another stream, but I'm just having a hard time figuring out Streamlabs, right? And it was supposed to be on Streamlabs. I was going to have some articles I wanted to show and read. And just, yeah, it didn't quite work out like that. So please excuse me. I do apologize if this screwed up. Let me see. Is there any way I can link this to Facebook? Because I did actually. I'm just on the regular YouTube fucking video cam thing they have that apparently you can still use. But let me see. Oh yeah, I can share this to Facebook. I'm going to share this to Facebook, and because I had told a couple of people that follow me on or not follow me on Facebook. I hate that fucking term. People that I know on Facebook who similar interests. We talk about the same things or comment and everything like that. Let me see. I'm just going to type this in. That Grampy, Lobster, and Carl are reading the fucking news right now. And let me see. I sent this girl, I sent this one person a link because we, not a link to join the broadcast, but we share a lot of and she doesn't always agree with me. There's certain things, but before I get started, I was reading today, and this really does, it doesn't bother me, but I don't understand why it bothers so many people. And that's the fact, people are upset that kids aren't learning how to write cursive anymore, right? Or kids don't know how to read a clock, an analog clock anymore. Now, I remember as a child, you learned to tell time with an analog clock, right? It's been that way for a long time. I think before analog clocks came around, they were still using sundials and, looking up to, well, about this time of day, it looks like, they'd actually, a lot of people would literally tell time, high noon. There's a reason. I mean, I don't know if that's a, actual term. Yeah, I mean, I know they use high noon in Western movies, but, throughout years, people have changed the ways that they can tell the time of day by different methods, right? The analog clock was a wonderful fucking thing, at one point in time, only rich people could afford, a timepiece, right? That could tell you accurate time. You had giant clocks, wristwatches, still to this day, a Rolex watch, really expensive timepieces, or that have, I guess, for the most part, still an analog, but people don't learn the same way throughout ages, the same way this, all the time, right? Things change, right? With the advent of the digital age, right? Suddenly we didn't have to guess whether it was 6:30 a.m. or 6:30 p.m. because sometimes of the year, if you look outside, it's light or dark at 6:30 a.m., 6:30, so, and I could never understand why people didn't like military time more, 2100 hours is 9 o'clock in the evening. It's not like, is it 9 o'clock? Is it 9 o'clock a.m., 9 o'clock p.m.? If you're looking at an analog clock indoors, you don't know, right? But anyway, people learn, things advance in life. And people get upset because kids don't, rely on an analog clock anymore. Some kids don't know how to tell, they don't understand the analog clock. It's like when you show people There's videos now of kids looking at a rotary phone. Like, what the fuck is this? And we laugh at them, right? But they don't know what it is, right? And to say, oh, you're stupid for not understanding how this is. My dad taught me to tell time like this. This is how I used to make a phone call. Well, they don't do that anymore because they don't need to. And it's the same way with cursive writing. You know, People are all up in arms because they're not teaching cursive writing. They're not making kids teach cursive writing. Hey, Darren, how you doing? They're not teaching kids how to write in cursive, right? It's like, well, for years, when you presented yourself in a letter, if you had to write a resume or anything about yourself, the way you presented yourself was with your writing. They taught you to write cursive, right? That's fine, right? Now, most of the time, when you need to write something, and with cursive, you needed to be able to write well. And that's a problem with a lot of people that had to write in cursive. I never got into cursive. The way I write is a cross between printing and cursive. It's this thing. I don't have anybody complaining if I have to write something. They can understand what I'm saying. And the communication part is basically what you're trying to do in the first place. But people get upset because you're not writing in cursive anymore. I hate reading in cursive, because, it's too many different styles, right? Sometimes it's hard to fucking read if something's printed, like today, right? Why don't kids write with it? Why don't they learn how to use, write cursive? Well, because they type everything and print it out, You don't have to like write papers. We still have to do papers and things like that, but it's typed out, right? I mean, it's born into people these days. It's just what happens. It's how things are done. And when people, holy shit, I'm watching the Bruins and the fucking Florida Panthers, and this guy on the who is that 51? Some dude on the fucking uh, Panthers just got his ass whipped on the fucking ice. Good fight. Holy shit. Bruins are up 5-2. It's almost playoff time. But I'm sure that'll piss somebody off too. Oh yeah, he likes the Patriots and the Red Sox and the Bruins. Oh. But anyway, things change, and people, a lot of people don't like change, right? I don't always like change, right? But it's gonna come, right? And to like criticize people because they didn't learn to do something the old-fashioned way like you did. It's kind of like the old adage. When I went to school, I had to walk 6 miles uphill both ways in the snow. Everything was harder for you, but you got through it. Now, things are made simpler, right? And people are criticized because, oh, look how easy it is now. It's just, instead of going, wow, the technology is so fucking amazing now that we don't have to have some stupid fucking clock up at the end of the fucking room that reminds me that I still have 55 fucking minutes to go in an hour. That's going to seem like 3. If I want to see the time, I always look at my phone, whatever. There was always a reminder of what time it was, and you can always find out what time it is if you want to look on your phone. My computer screens, every fucking one of them, even my TV has a fucking clock, right? Everything has a clock to it now, right? I guess we're all ticking time bombs. But anyway, so the need to teach some kid how to use it's not like the kid's not going to know what time it is, but because it's not an analog, a regular clock like I learned, then all of a sudden it's this, bad thing, and I got one other thing before I get started on this meat and potatoes of this show, if you want to call it a show, because apparently I think Darren's watching now, and that's about it. But people know that I love sports, right? I like baseball, big baseball. My thing is baseball, college football. I like NFL because I live in New England. We got the Patriots, but if the Patriots sucked, I probably would give less about. Hey, Brad, I would probably give less about football than I do. But mostly it's baseball, college football. Tournament season for any fucking college sport is a beautiful thing. Basketball, football, Even hockey, college hockey tournaments, any tournament where the tournament it's worth something, right? And there's crowds and there's excitement. That's the kind of sports that I like. And so I mean, it's almost playoff time in hockey season, so that's when I kind of turn up my, get more involved with what I'm watching and stuff. I kind of pay attention most of the time, but not as much as you do during playoff season. But I'm strolling through like ESPN. I got this YouTube TV. I got rid of regular cable years ago, last year or something. And I'm looking at sports like ESPN, these different sports channels, right? And first of all, poker is not a sport. Poker is an activity. Hey, Bozo, how you doing? Poker is an activity. It's not a sport, right? It's an activity people do. Some people you gamble on it, right? And there's some other things. I mean, Jesus, they even have the fucking national spelling bee on ESPN. Why? I'll never fucking know, right? Doesn't make sense to me. But I'm watching. I was going through the little, flicking through the thing. I think it was yesterday. Maybe it was today. And I noticed that they have the National Cornhole Championships, some league playing cornhole, right? On ESPN, as if it's a real fucking sport, right? And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, I didn't know what cornhole is, but cornholio and all that. I get that, right? But I didn't understand. Somebody says we played cornhole. This was like 4 or 5 years ago. And people were talking about playing cornhole. And I'm like, what is this? A bunch of guys like, grabbing asses and sticking their fingers in each other's butt? I didn't know what cornhole was. And the guy showed it to me, right? And it's, I don't know. When I was a kid, we called it beanbags. Throwing beanbags. Beanbag game. That was pretty much what it was. And so when this guy showed me, he goes, "Oh, this is just the coolest fucking shit. Hey, Mr. United for the Children. This is the coolest fucking shit in the world, man. It's a new thing, right?" And he's showing it to me, and they're playing fucking beanbags. We did this in kindergarten at little birthday parties and shit, right? I mean, what do they? Look, maybe the next big thing. Hey, Robin, how you doing? Maybe the next big thing is they'll start. I don't know, another game. Remember Pin the Tail on the Donkey. You know what I'm saying? Remember Pin the Tail on the Donkey? Maybe. I mean, they've captured the whole beanbag game thing, right? Okay, right. So maybe if they figure out like some Pin the Tail on the Donkey, Pin the Tail on Fat Elvis, Pin the Tail on Von Helsing, whatever, some kind of fucking game that I mean, look what beer pong has turned into. Bouncing a ping pong ball into fucking red Solo cups or whatever kind of cups you use. There are leagues for this, sports leagues. I've seen this shit on internet fucking shows, and people take this shit fucking seriously, right? And I'm like, how fucking much? I mean, look. Admittedly, everybody wants to win a trophy or a certificate. I mean, that whole adulation thing. I remember when I was a kid, all I wanted to do was play second base for the Dodgers or the Angels. I lived in Southern California. I mean, I learned really quick that wasn't going to happen. So I figured if I'm going to win like a certificate or a trophy, it wasn't going to be in like a sporting event, right? I know, I do. It's like, what do you mean, Lobster? You look so athletically inclined. Well, when you've been working out the way I do all these years, well, anyway, just kidding. But no, I mean, and I freely admit it. A lot of people go, "Oh, it's football." I played sports. I mean, I was, okay at baseball, but I wasn't going to go anywhere past, Pony League or something like that, and I never had any grand delusions and stuff. And through the years, I've won a couple awards for different things I've done as an employee somewhere. or as a driver, or public speaking, or working with a nonprofit organization. There's a lot of ways in the world that you can get recognition, right? And everybody's thing is their own fucking thing. I get that. I really do, right? But when it comes down to like a game like cornhole, which if you play fucking cornhole, you know, you don't understand the game of it. No, it's like you're playing fucking. I've seen what the game is. Kind of like horseshoes. You throw it and you get in a hole or some shit or get close. You knock things out. I get it. Kind of a cross between shuffleboard and fucking curling and fucking horseshoes. I mean, and whatever. I mean, how much talent? How much alcohol do you have to drink to become really good at it? But anyway, that just I mean, I remember as a kid, I used to watch golf because they had personalities. When Jack Nicklaus, Lee Trevino, they were personalities. I really didn't give a fuck about the golf. It was the whole event thing. Same with boxing years ago, or different sports. Where there's not personality, nothing happens. And anyway, but yeah, so many things now are considered sports that aren't sports. Bowling is another one. Bowling is not a sport. Bowling is an activity. Same with golf. Golf is not a sport. Golf is an activity. Some people like to watch people play golf, right? Or bowl, but it's not a sport. It's an activity. Yes, Brad Silverdog does make some pretty good Elvis videos. He's rather creative. Me and Carl at sometimes we're like, man, we need to hire that bastard. He's pretty awesome. He does some pretty good shit, and he's trying to get me involved more. I mean, he's not involved, but he's not trying. But he's introduced me more into the RV community, which Bad Elvis claims that he has the best content in the RV community, and me not being an RVer, right, myself, right, I'm kind of a homebody kind of guy, I've been on the road in my life, I know people that are on the road quite frequently, but they also have a home to go to, they have a job to go to, or they they're retired, but they have that RV lifestyle, a few times a year for a good time during the summer, maybe spring, maybe a weekend up in the mountains or something, but they don't live in their car, and poop in Walmart bags and sing out of piss jugs, right? I am still, holy shit. That's why I need someone, please, someone was in my chat the other day that I'm not going to bring his name up. I've contacted him because he wants me to contact him. I'm not going to bring his name up because it'll bring up a lot of bullshit eventually, but this person was supposed to help me with Streamlabs or OBS or something like that, because admittedly, I'm kind of dumb when it comes to this shit, I need people, I mean, look, I'm reduced to having Carl as my co-host, right? And sure, Carl has a lot to say, right? He really does. Behind closed doors, Carl is a fucking chattermouth. He doesn't shut up. He talks more than I do, right? And that's kind of hard to fucking do, right? But on camera, fuck, he clams up. He's got all these ideas. And you know how he does. You know how perfect. I mean, Carl, nobody edits like Carl. Nobody edits and throws music in. Nobody has that vision quite like Carl. And that's why we pay Carl the big money. But we think that Uh, well, we've been looking for a co-host for a long time, somebody that has any technical knowledge, because Carl, he wants to go back in the control room where he does his magic, because he's got anxiety problems. Sometimes, Carl, like some people, they're real chatty until they get around people, and Carl knows that. Let me see. Right now, there's 11 people watching this apparently, and Carl's like, fuck. I think Carl pissed on me. Oh shit. I thought we were over this. Fuck. And I told him. I said, Carl, when you gotta pee, please let me know, right? Please. And he goes, I will. He tells me and everything. And anyway, well, let's put Carl down here. Get a little rag here, and you know, we don't we don't criticize Carl. Carl's been through a lot in his life. And speaking a lot, I was reading, and there's a lot of people, I post things on Facebook. A lot of people, and that's what I was saying earlier. If you don't follow me on Facebook, by this time, most people know my fucking name, right? So if you want to know how I really feel a lot of time, I'm not going to put it on the side. People know who I am. There's people in the fucking side chat, and if you want to follow what things that I look at and stuff, look at my Facebook page, right? I'm trying to get into Twitter. I'm Grampy Lobster at Twitter, but it's just you just tweet. There's nothing really very personal about Twitter, and I'm kind of, you know me. I like to, But anyway, I um, I mean, I've got an opinion and stuff, and I have, people who are my friends on Facebook and stuff that don't agree with what I say, or they say they agree until something happens, and then, but and I guess that's what you get for. The only thing so many of us really have in common, if you think about it, is Von Helton. You know what I mean? Once you get past the Von Helton thing, right? There are so many different directions on ideologies and politics and humor. We all find Von Helton funny. Some people find Von Helton offensive. Some people don't find Von Helton funny. Some people find him just offensive. I find him funny and offensive and retarded and other things. And some people just feel sorry for him. So, but anyway, for president, I'm sorry, Wilson. Anyway. Oh yeah, hi. Yeah, me and Robin. Robin is friends with me on Facebook. There's a few other people. I think Snyder Handyman. Me and him had a recent thing. Yeah, there's other people. And you know what? There's going to be times you're going to trigger the fuck out of me because I think what you say is, stupid, not what I think or something like that. And there's sometimes people get pissed off at me. And Rosie O'Kelly wearing a hat and jacket, no heat. No, I'm not wearing a jacket. I'm wearing like this sleeve shirt. I'm wearing this beanie because it's the fucking hockey season, and the Providence Bruins. And yes, we have heat. But thanks for the inquiry, Rosie O'Kelly. That was really insightful of you and really thoughtful that you might think that I was cold right now or something. To tell you how uncold I am, I'm actually not wearing pants. And my wife actually said something. She goes, do you really go on camera with no pants on? And I'm like, yeah, I think a lot of people do, because I'm not standing up, right? I want to be as comfortable as I can during this entire fucking show. And sometimes, not wearing pants, is comfortable. If I stand up, I might have an issue with that, but I'm going to be sitting down the whole time. I've got me a glass of hot tea. I've got me some, this isn't Gatorade. It's some kind of liquid power stuff that I get in these little envelopes and stuff. I got my bowl over here, my little grinder. So there's no need for me to get up, if for the odd chance that I do need to get up and leave, I could gracefully do it without showing everybody what color underwear I'm wearing, unless you really want to know. Kind of a dark blue, boxers, kind of not the more of a fit, a well fit type. Kind of the same color as my shirt here, but thank you so much, Rosie O'Kelly, for the thoughtful, uh, you know. Anyway, shit. You know, when we're talking earlier about uh, kids, how they learn, the fact that they don't use analog clocks anymore, they don't write in cursive anymore. You know, growing up as a kid, in a lot of ways, which could suck, for so many kids, right? And not every kid is that lucky kid, the kid that's in the cool class, the cool group and things like that. And for a lot of kids, even being in the cool group, you weren't the coolest kid, so you still got fucked with a little bit, right? And this was in the 70s when I mean, back in the 70s, I still remember a lot of people didn't understand what gay people were, and I knew a guy that used to get the shit kicked out of him every fucking day at school because he was a tall, effeminate guy and people didn't understand him or some shit like that. And, he went on to, well, not not successful, like rich and stuff, but he went on to, and actually became friends with him later. I didn't really know the guy, but anyway, it just, so back then, a lot of people swear there were no gay people. A lot of diseases, we thought were gone, are coming back because, anti-vaxxers, let's have a measles party. So some people are always going to be stupid, right? But I was reading, it came across Fox 35 in Orlando. I'm not sure if it's exactly, if it was out of Orlando. I think it was in West Virginia or some shit like that. But these three teenagers, right? Like I said, growing up as a kid, when you're a teenager, junior high, teenager, would it make you feel better if I took my hat off? I mean, that would, now does it look like Jesus Christ. Whatever I wear, whatever I do, somebody goes, "Hey man, what are you wearing that hat for? Does that P stand for Patrick, man?" Oh fuck, I doxed myself. Anyway, Pawtucket, Providence, whatever. I live in fucking Rhode Island. God. If you're wearing a coat or a jacket or a hat, a lot of times, I get, they go, "What are you, cold?" I'm like, no, the fuck. Anyway, I'm a little bit, anyway, but I can be triggered sometimes. I'm telling you right now, don't piss me off. Don't piss me off. I will I will come across this stream and just wallop you one. People know me. Anyway. Holy shit. I hate not having a mouse. Anyway, on this other screen. Let me see. Where was this at? Oh, New Hampshire. New Hampshire. 3 teens have been charged with beating and burning the hair of another teen who was autistic, right? Because, beating up a handicapped kid is, really cool. Let me see. The seacoastline.com reports that the 18-year-old in Seabrook, that Paul Dustin, 18 years old. Another one kid was two 18-year-olds and a 19-year-old kid. Kids restrained this kid last year and punched him and spit on him, and they flicked the cigarette ashes out in his hair, causing his hair to catch on fire. I mean, not flame, but if you've ever singed your hair, and it's not hard for your hair to fucking catch on fire. The criminal restraint is essentially that he was held in a room for a period of 2 hours while individuals punched and kicked him and lit his hair on fire. I don't think that there's really much they could do to these kids, right? If the kind of people that are going to do stuff like this, you can put them in jail. You can give them community service, right? But, three of age, I won't call them men, but boys, right? Decide to, they got him under the guise of, hey, we're going to hang out, right? This kid wanted to hang out with some cool kids, some kids that he thought was cool, right? And they end up beating the shit out of him, right? And lighting his hair on fire because, we're going to make fun of the autistic kid. And hey, that's really fucking cool. I don't think there's anything that any of these boys could ever do that couldn't be thrown in their face, right? That's just some fucked up shit, you know. Trying to get too political here. This is another thing. This administrator fired after mocking a trans student for following him in the bathroom, right? Once again, whether I agree with how somebody perceives themselves, right? Sexually, or what their preferred gender is, or anything like, no matter what I think of that personally, which personally I don't care. And I think most people at this point, for the most part, they don't care either. But they're always worried about some fucking guy, some guy dressed like a woman is going to go in the bathroom, and molest little kids, right? I wouldn't want my kid. Most people, when they go to the bathroom, right, that's what they go. Now, you're going to have freaks and fucking weirdos and perverts that'll do that, right? They've shown churches where, guys go in there and diddle little kids in churches. They've shown it in schools where straight men, or straight women, so it's gonna happen in any fucking thing. But for the most part, when somebody goes to the bathroom, that's literally what they do. They want to go to the bathroom. They want to relieve themselves, right? In a place that's been, and if personally, if there's a girl that feels like she feels like a boy today, right? Or whatever, right? And she feels that she wants to use the men's room and uses the stall, I don't fucking care, right? I mean, I'd like to see her try to use the urinal. That would be funny. They actually have these little adaptable things where women can actually use a urinal. They had them like during World War II, and a lot of places. Seriously, but for the most part, I mean, because it's not a sexual. I mean, and I don't know. Maybe you're into pissing and golden showers and poop and shit like that. But when somebody's using the bathroom, to most people, that's not a sexual thing. It's not how they get off. The only thing they want to leave is a dump, or a piss stream in a fucking toilet. It's not a sexual thing. So if somebody wants to use the bathroom, right? Now, if you see some freaky shit going on in there where somebody's like taking pictures or doing upskirts or something, yeah, absolutely, that's like literally anybody. But this kid, right? Like I said, confused kid. A lot of kids are confused growing up. They don't. Fuck, they're who wasn't confused about a lot of shit, when they were in school, right? Maybe not your sexuality, but a lot of things, Anyway, this was some former fucking vice principal kept following this trans kid. You freak me out. You freak me out going in the bathroom and shit, right? Turning it into a freaky thing. Like, this guy was offended that this guy, I don't know, wanted to use the bathroom in a bathroom that wasn't whatever assigned to him by whatever. I mean, why would he care? He's afraid somebody's gonna, see his pee-pee or some shit, while he's taking a leak. I mean, who hasn't seen a dick in a fucking bathroom? Sure, when you're at the stall, man, the primary thing is keep your head straight and everything. But, if you're a guy, you've seen a pecker, right? You've been in a bathroom, you've been in a fucking shower, or a YMCA, or a gym, or in the military, or whatever the fuck. You've seen a guy's dick. Most people have seen a naked woman by this point in their life too, right? But the fact that they see somebody, it's like breastfeeding in public, right? Sure, boobs are nice, right? But if I see a woman breastfeeding, I don't get turned on by it, and I'll understand really why people get upset by it, right? because that's how people do it. Not everybody, does it the way you do it, right? And as long as I mean, if the woman drops her fucking shirt and starts doing a belly dance while she's breastfeeding your kid, or if it's a 6-year-old kid, which apparently, who is it? That one actress, somebody famous, breastfeeding her kids at 6 years old. Now that gets a little bit fucking creepy, because then you're like, when do you fucking stop? But like this trans thing, the LGBT thing, I don't understand a lot of it, right? Most people don't, right? Most people just want to live their life the way they do, right? And most people can handle that for the most part. I mean, I see people in the grocery store sometimes that I'll kind of look and go, well, there's a nice tall transgender gentleman that pretty sure identifies as some sort of female right now, but and I don't get into it, but I'll go, well, at least she looks classy. I mean, I'm not making fun, but at least she doesn't look like some truck stop hooker. Oftentimes, if somebody's going to go a certain direction, you comment on, hey, well, they went all in on this, and sometimes I'll be like, you know what, if they're going to do it, they did it right. They dressed the part, they looked the part, not like that, it's ma'am guy, that I think turns out that he was a criminal that used that as one of his like ruses or some shit. I thought that was funny, the big tall guy. It's ma'am, Now that's funny. I mean, it doesn't mean you're making fun of gay people or LGBT people and shit like that. You turn around. Sometimes the voice you hear and just the whole picture. Sometimes it's fucking funny, right? You're not laughing at that person, but it can be funny. But some people, like I said, I don't understand none of it, right? I don't, because I'm not in that world, right? But the fact that some people have a problem with people being like that, right? Now, if that person is a certain way and he, I don't know, pushes it on you, like, or makes you feel like, you're something less if you don't understand his plight or how he came to this decision, then we might have a problem. But for the most part, I know people that have different identities, not YouTube identities, but consider themselves different than what was biologically assigned to them, I guess you'd say. I have no problem with that, and most people don't. It kind of depends on how you present yourself, Um, if some people aren't going to like you, some people won't care. Okay, moving on. Now, here's something that really kind of bugs me. I haven't watched this documentary, because I'm so over the whole thing. It's just beyond. I can't believe people are still talking about this. But they had that documentary recently about Michael Jackson leaving Neverland or some shit, and a lot of accusations. People that didn't, apparently, from what I hear, people that didn't ever say anything or did say something. They're talking to a bunch of different people. And about the whole thing, and it's not a complimentary documentary, I guess you'd say, on a lot of Michael Jackson and stuff like that. And that's sad because, well, he either deserved it or he didn't. But anyway, Barbara Streisand, I guess she was in England. I've never understood why people found her in such great esteem, like she's some kind of legend or something. I mean, she did The Way We Were. I mean, she's influential in I don't know. I've never followed her career, but apparently, some people just love them some Barbara Streisand. You know what I'm saying? It's Bab Streisand. Oh my God, you can't. Some people just love Barbara Streisand. She did do that commercial for the United Children's Retarded Foundation, which is always a classic I love. And every time I get a new computer, I always make sure that I download that commercial because it's just funny. Um, Portlandia public transportation system is often entertaining. Well, so you live in Portland, Oregon, right? Where the motto is keep Portland weird. You know, that's a bizarre. Yeah. So saying that the Portlandia public transportation system is often entertaining is most likely an understatement. Just it's it's a free floor show. Yeah, I bet you it is. I mean, I've um, but Barbara Streisand, she claiming that these kids were happy to be there. Sure it happened, but they got on with their lives, and nobody died, and everybody's fine, and let's leave Michael Jackson alone. Which I nobody gave a fuck about Michael Jackson anymore before he died, and all of a sudden he died, and all of a sudden everybody's, all these people are getting all excited about Michael Jackson. Has some good music. Don't get me wrong, but I really don't give a fuck about Michael Jackson. Never have. You know, too many things came out about him that were creepy and not just childlike. I don't give a fuck if he missed his childhood. I mean, Barbara Streisand is making excuses for him. She understands that what was done, that she doesn't not she believes that these things happen, right? But that was Michael's sexuality, and the kids enjoyed it. They were just always so glad to be there. And if you're going to blame anybody, blame the parents, which you can blame the parents, but at the same time, you have to remember that this was Michael fucking Jackson, right? And a lot of things weren't reported. You know what I'm saying? But things come out later, and all of a sudden, oh well, nothing. You know. Anyway, so yeah, Barbara Streisand. I've always thought she was a cunt. People, oh, why don't you like Barbara Streisand? Oh, and this is a local story. The Market Basket in Wilmington, shoppers are actually saying that they saw a ghost. So if you are anywhere in this is out of Boston local, so Wilmington, Matt, or wherever, and yeah, Market Basket, that's a good local chain. They've got some good. Anyway, it's a ghost at Market Basket. One of the things that really now people know that I don't like Trump, and every time I hear something, the first thing I hear is, "Well, Hillary did, or well, Obama, or what about Clinton, or what about Benghazi, you know." And I mean, how many fucking Benghazi hearings were there? And they'll go, "Oh, they never really. These people were bought out." And I'm not sure. I'm not saying that there wasn't some like shenanigans behind the fucking scenes or some shit like. I guess there always is. It's fucking politics, right? But if they would have found something, and there's so many misconstrued, but I could go on about how I don't like Trump. People fucking know that. But the people that do like Trump, some of them will make the dumbest fucking excuses, right? And I'm not talking about your, make America great again guy, let's build that wall and stuff like that. At least he's done more. He loves the troops, which he doesn't. He's fucked the VA. He's fucking you, right? But anyway, but the people that really, really get me are the people in government, like Mike Pompeo, right? That claims that Trump could be the modern day Queen Esther, right? Now, these are government officials, right? Not elected, but appointed, right? They've got to be, they've got to go through the process and get confirmed and stuff, But you've got these fucking knuckleheads that really fucking, they turn it into some kind of biblical thing, right? Because we are a Christian nation, and my mustache is really looking funny today. Somehow the wild hair thing, I'm not playing with myself. Well, I could be playing with myself. You never know. But when you started, I mean, Trump wants to put prayers. This is another thing. They want to put, and I think, like I said before, in Missouri, they're offering electives. Bible study, right? Now, if it was something like comparative religions or something, I think Christina Blackfeather was the one that brought that up, like in a college course or something like that, or an advanced elective, like in high school for somebody that's going towards a certain thing in college or something like comparative religions or something. I can understand, right? I can, in certain cases, right? And in college, of course, because politics and regions and things are. It's good to know the differences, and you understand what I'm saying. But to have, hey, Christina, but to have like literal Bible study, right? They Bible study. They go, well, it's a historical book, Look, it says that Rome's a place, but it's not a history book, right? Um, they could have it in a literature class. This semester we're studying what's in the Bible, right, through a literature view, literary view or something. I could see that. But having a Bible study in a classroom when you can go to church, right, or have Bible study at your church on Wednesday because they've got one, right, or you can go on internet Bible study classes. Those are always funny to watch. But to have it in a school when they are defunding music programs, art programs, shop programs, wood shop, metal shop, auto shop. I mean, when I was in high school, they had auto shop, right? I don't know if they still have shop classes in school. Now, admittedly, I'm not good with my hands and tools and stuff. These were very good things to prove that point. But learning basic uses with your hands, right? There's other things that I can adapt in life to. I remember from woodshop this, or even drafting. I took a semester of drafting in the 8th grade, right? I learned enough about measurements and square, that I kind of understood the concept of it. I got a C because I wasn't very good at it, but I still got that basic idea enough to get me lost later in life. But a lot of these programs are canceled, defunded, right? Because we can't put this in the budget anymore. But hey, let's bring Bible study into class. Something that's, I don't know, in life not worth much, you know, because admittedly, I was watching Coach Dave the other day on his fucking stupid show. You put 37 Christians in a room and bring up the Bible, and you've got 37 different versions, right? And that's supposed to be a good thing, right? And it's supposed to be the truth. It's just talking about nonsense and bullshit, because school's supposed to be for teaching people about living, about life, and people get upset because they're not teaching kids. Kids don't know how to use an analog clock, right? Or kids don't learn to write cursive anymore, right? But let's bring Bible study back into class too, right? Anyway, now in this day and age, Christina, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that it's not done, but I'm not surprised in a way that Bond doesn't homeschool his kids, because first of all, I don't think he'd do it, right? Because that's not his job. I mean, to be a parent at all. But I don't think they would let him. You know, I don't think they would let him homeschool his kids. I mean, I'm not putting his kids down or nothing like that. They've got enough going against them right now. But I mean, his kids are fucked as long as they're with him. But uh, I honestly don't think that the school system will ever let Vaughn or the CPS or any of them, because you've seen he doesn't like spending any time with his kids anyway. Um, but yeah. Um, But that's just, let me see, what did Bozo write? Where have it been? Yeah, the audio visual club used to be actually a cool club, man, because you got to go around to different classes and show films on projectors, right? The old movie projectors and the slideshows and all that shit. You were responsible. You had responsibility. And if you got to show the good movies, man, that was like, holy shit, that was pulling some weight. He was a roadie and a DJ and a Did Bozo sent me a message last night. Vaughn was talking about, God, he was in Brett Keene's Hangout, and I went to check it out later. I watched it for a while, and it was just some crazy fucking stupid shit about, crisis actors and everything's fake. He's still claiming that the Sandy Hook was, a staged event. He's still claiming that, the San Bernardino. He still claims that at fucking Columbine, right? Columbine had there. Where did they get the guns for Columbine? I don't know. He claims that a white van just pulled up, with opened its back doors, and there was just an whole arsenal of guns. So these kids just went over there and got guns and decided to start shooting people. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly, Christina. He'd have to interact with his kids, and you've seen when he does put his kids on his lap, he uses his kids as a prop. It kind of like the way I use Carl. I'll be like, "Come here a minute, Carl. Hey, because this is Carl. He's my executive producer. He's part of the show, and I'm holding Carl by his crotch right now, which is kind of creepy. But I know he's a bear. But and everything. Now, okay, go away, Carl. That's the way Vaughn is with his kids, right? He'll show them up to look, they're smiling, as kids, they're just trying to be kids and wave at shit and say hi. And still remember when he put that little girl on a fucking chair and like cross-examined her like fucking God. That was one time when I really wanted to jump through the fucking internet and fucking punch him in the face. And I'm not a violent guy, but anyway, in this day and age, we're gonna move on a little bit. In this day and age, things, the atmosphere, the things that happen almost on a daily basis. Maybe not on a daily basis, but they happen enough where it's not like shocking anymore. It's not. I mean, every time you hear like something bad happening in a small area, they go, "Wow, who would have ever thought it would happen in a place like this?" Things like that don't happen here, right? You always hear that, right? This is such a nice, quiet area. Wow, who'd have thought this would happen here? Who'd have thought so? And that's even gotten to the point of what the fuck, people are saying that all the time. It's not like this is the first time we've heard this. This happened. This is said every time there's some kind of tragedy. So people are very touchy, about I don't know, one's behavior, one's activities, what people say on the internet. What can be construed as a fucking threat, some guy in Louisville threatened to blow up a school with 9,000 kiddies in this school. I mean, the guy actually sent this out of fucking Louisville. Domestic threatening, because why not? I mean, seriously, what the actual fuck? Who wouldn't want to fucking, I mean, what would make somebody, what would make somebody do that, right? It's out of the Courier Journal. It's out of Louisville, Kentucky, or some shit. Go figure. But I mean, I remember years ago, you want something to happen at school, you pull a fucking fire alarm, and that was like 10, 15 minutes out of the class. And sometimes if somebody was strategically placed at a fire alarm at the good time, hey, guess what? We don't have to take that test today. It didn't always turn out like that because sometimes they would make you still take the test that day or some shit. But not saying that I ever did that, but it was how some people did. Pulling the fire alarm, shooting off fucking firecrackers in the fucking hallway. Can you imagine somebody if they shot off fireworks in the hallway now? What would happen? Holy shit, the school would be on fucking lockdown, right? Back then, they knew it was fireworks, right? They knew it was firecrackers, right? Once again, I was not personally involved in that activity, nor would I ever condone such activity. So don't get yourself all. But some people now, it's like, who hasn't heard of a bomb? Somebody calls up a school, throws a bomb threat, right? Why do people do that, right? They don't go to the school, right? Or call up a business or a venue or something, and threaten, hey, there's going to be a bomb there today. What's their end game? You see a bunch of people have to leave, and then the bomb squad come in and they can go, ha ha ha, I fooled them, What goes on in their fucking mind, So whenever you hear about these things now, you have to take it seriously because, I don't know, things like that fucking happen, you know? Yeah, we've had a few, yeah, Christina, we've had some gunfight down, yeah. I've been close to a few before. I mean, I've been in a bar before where somebody pulled out a fucking gun. I was like, holy shit. I don't do guns, right? If I want to, fire a weapon or something, I know some place I can go. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, that's pretty fun. But oh yeah, and then in was it Indiana? They're having one of these live fire drills, right? And this shows you how fucked up this world has gotten to, right? They're having these live fire drills, right? Because schools get shot up now, right? There's people out there that'll go fucking shooting schools and stuff, right? So you've got to be prepared. You've got to have these drills, right? For, active shooter drills, for bombings, for fucking, all sorts of weird shit. So they have these active shooter drills, I guess you'd call it, in Indiana. And I don't know, the teachers were, during the drill were asked to voluntarily like lay down, like, in the situation or stuff. And they were pelted with non-lethal bullets. I'm not sure if it was the beanbags or the rubber bullets or some shit, right? But they get pelted, right, with plastic pellets during active, not telling them that they're going to do this, right? Not explaining, say, look, when you lay down like this and pretend there's an active shooter, we're going to shoot you in the back with plastic pellets, right? And there were bruises. I mean, these teachers, like I said, they were not told this was going to happen like this, that somebody was going to shoot them in the back with literally anything. So there's some issues going on, like about how far do you go, right? I mean, I like law enforcement. Don't get me fucking wrong, but they make bad choices sometimes, and then you'll have a police officer say, well, you know what, before we could carry a taser, we had to be tased, which is good, right? I think that should happen. And I think that if you carry a gun that has non-lethal bullets, that you should know what that feels like as well, right? But in no way, shape, or form were these teachers informed that they were going to be shot during this fucking thing, right? And oh my God, Snyder the handyman's in here. We've got a bit of the, yeah, I got some friends on Facebook that are going, "Why, your conservative friend is throwing," and we'll get into that. I mean, oh yeah, there's another one. A French priest claims that child rape is not really a crime. It's actually tender. It's not violence. It's tenderness. You know, um, and you're starting to see more and more. The whole outrage. Initial outrage of all the shit that's been found out. The big shit about the Catholic Church that's come out. It's kind of waning down, because some people are being prosecuted and some people are getting justice, and not as many people as should. But then you get these priests that come out and you see outrage in France. French priests being condemned after suggesting that children raped by Catholic clergy were willing victims seeking tenderness from their abusers. Now, this guy's Alain de la Morale de Dios. It's French. So right there, you don't trust him because he's French. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so he's seen this forever, right? So he knows every fucking uh, because the kids were looking for it. Those little kids were in those sexy shorts that day. What's the age of reason in the Catholic Church is what, 9 or 7 or something like it. It's very young. So when they reach that age, boy howdy. Yeah, I know, Snyder. But that comment, you put that, and God, this is a fucking subject that I like to stay out of it because, and I'm glad you brought this up. That putting a comment about some congressman discussing how certain medical procedures are done with women, abortions and stuff, late term, things like that. The words ripping arms off and things, and clearly a bias smear piece, and this guy he goes, oh, there's no place good enough in hell for these people or some shit. Not understanding that, first of all, they're talking about a case that nobody on that panel knew the backstory of, right? Why this fucking procedure was being done in the first place. It's not like the woman was going, at 8 or 9 months going, I just don't want this baby. Health reasons, for whatever reasons, medical procedures like that are done. They're not pretty things, right? They're done for a specific reason, and to describe something like that the way it's done, right? Nothing like that is ever pretty, right? They make it sound like women that want to go and like they're like, oh, I'm pregnant, I'm going to go have an abortion, right? Most times that's the most difficult decision a woman can make in their life. I've been around some women that have had to make that choice, right? Have the child, not have the child. What are you going to think? I know people that have done things on both sides, right? And when something like a procedure where they're describing this stuff, and this woman behind that's testifying is like, what the fuck? No, they're not ripping babies' arms and shit. And some people are actually claiming that people eat the babies after that and stuff, and they just do it because, oh, fuck it, It's a procedure that's done, right? Now, I remember, I know you're done with it, but it's a procedure. Now, look, I remember in the 60s, not much because I was a kid, but I still remember in the 60s hearing of terms like clothes hanger abortion, wire coats, right? Wire coat hangers, right? Vacuum cleaners, right? Back alley abortions where people would die, right, from this shit. Now that it's legal, it's a messy fucking thing. It's not something that people take lightly, right? And for people to think that other people do take medical procedures like that lightly, to me is disgusting, right? God loves every baby. What about the one born retarded, right? And once, if it was just, I wouldn't do that, I could accept that. I really could accept that, right? But when people try to justify their morality when they don't know why something was done, the backstory behind why it was done, any reasons why this thing was being done in the first place, and not just, wanting to kill people, or the fact that Planned Parenthood, very little of what they do is actually doing that procedure, right? A lot of women, defund Planned Parenthood. A lot of women depend on Planned Parenthood for their health, right? A lot of women need Planned Parenthood. And when they say defund it because, they practice abortions or some shit, or sometimes things don't come out the way that it might have, should have, or some shit. Things get complicated, right? And to tell people like that there's a special place in hell for them, right, is one reason why I'm not religious, right? Because people can put that whole concept of what hell is, what heaven is in their own fucking mind to make themselves feel better. And when they're done talking about it, right, they're finished with it. It doesn't matter what anybody else has to say, Anyway, let's see what else we got here. I'm on a roll. Chick-fil-A is another thing, right? Personally, Chick-fil-A, I don't fucking like them. Never have. I didn't like Chick-fil-A before I ever fucking knew there was their owners were a bunch of fundies that think the world was actually 6,000 years old and that gay people are an abomination unto the Lord. And, and I know some people have worked for Chick-fil-A that are gay, and some people like Chick-fil-A that are gay, and I'm totally aware of that, right? Other people don't. And when people don't, when people want things the way they've always been, it was good enough for you, right? Fuck change. Fuck change in any way, shape, or form, because the world's working out fine for me, right? I don't like change all the time. Oh, you don't have a Chick-fil-A? We have a Chick-fil-A. There was a big thing about Chick-fil-A when they first came out here. It's not allowed at a couple of college campuses because of reasons. But I've had better chicken sandwiches. I don't get. It's the same thing like with In-N-Out. I get Chick-fil-A. They have their own chicken sandwich type thing, right? I get that, right? Kind of like In-N-Out Burger, right? I love In-N-Out Burger, but In-N-Out Burger, the reason they're popular is because they do one thing and they want to do one thing really well. They make good burgers. A lot of places like that. Chick-fil-A's kind of handled that with the chicken sandwich thing. But I've had better. I personally don't really give a fuck about Chick-fil-A, but some people do, right? And same with the Salvation Army. I don't. Somebody will say, "Well, there's another company that does this." Well, that's. I don't. I don't like Chick-fil-A. I don't support it. I don't support the Salvation Army because they make people sit in a fucking room and listen to Jesus before they'll give them a sandwich, or in any place where things are donated, for resale to like underprivileged people or people that need stuff. And they have the best chicken sandwiches. That's all I see. I don't think their I think their chicken sandwiches suck. And I thought this in the fucking 90s when I went to one in fucking Baltimore. I don't really give a fuck about their chicken sandwiches. It's not anything, but that's your opinion. But anyway, but if you're gonna go out and it's like, what are you gonna have? I don't know, Chick-fil-A. To me, it's like going to McDonald's or going to Burger King. There's enough. I go to Burger King and things like that sometimes because I got a coupon or something like that. Sonic. Not too far away. I get a fucking coupon from there. But most of the time, if I get something delivered or we go somewhere, it's like to a local place because I don't know. Their chicken sandwich is better anyway. If I want to have a chicken sandwich, so many times I really don't want to have a chicken sandwich to begin with. But yeah, there's places I can go. There's a lot of places. Around here, if you go to fucking You know, if you go out to eat or you go to places and just go to places that anybody else can go to, well, anyway, I don't do that because we have such better places. Oh yeah, Sonic is great. In and Out, yeah. Oh, you think In and Out has the best fries? Oh God, there weren't really. Oh shit, I love French fries. In and Out Burger has a great burger. I get that. Their fries suck. I'm sorry. Oh man, I have. Oh geez. Oh God. And they're actually known for having the shittiest fries too. I mean, there's people make blogs about how bad In and Out Burger's fries are. Schneider, I think you're playing with me on that one. I think you're, dude. I think you're trying to pull one over on me on that one, man. That's I don't agree. But anyway, yeah, Mike Pompeo suggested God made Trump president to save Israel from the Iranian menace. Once again, oh, Snyder's gonna block me. You know, I blocked him on I blocked Snyder for a while on fucking Facebook or Charlie Miller because I get a little upset sometimes and stuff. But the one thing that I really missed was always the way he says diaper eating shit boy. You know, that just I played that video for my wife that he did when he was calling Vaughn on that fucking genealogy stuff about, he said Amazon.com said that he was 65, not, anyway, Ancestry.com, but he said that Amazon.com told him he was 65% Cherokee. And just wait, Snyder started in, right? My wife started laughing. She's like, oh, fuck, this is funny as shit. But anyway, so yeah, I missed hearing diaper boy shit bag and all that crap, But and there's a lot of, and there's somebody else right now out there that's a little upset because we disagree at times and stuff, and I'm just not talking to him because, and I think me and Charlie, a lot of, or whoever, Snyder, there's things that we can talk about that we are literally never going to fucking argue about, right? I agree about, right? And I'm the kind of guy, I get pissed off sometimes and all this shit. And I fly off the handle and shit, and stuff, and I've blocked a few people over the years, for a week or two, and then I go, I guess I showed them, huh? But me and Charlie have known each other long enough that there's probably other things we can talk about, right? And I think over the years we kind of, get on with that and everything. But there's always something else we can talk about, and some people will tell you that, right? And then after telling you that, right, every time you talk, a certain topic will come up, right, that there's no way in the world you're going to agree, right? And sure, it can be fun at times watching me fucking lose my shit, and stuff like that. But just on fucking Facebook Messenger, it's not really as good because you're not seeing my emotions and watching me go like this and, just, whatever. But, so sometimes I ignore people for a while, other people, they want to save my soul, right? And honestly, I think that's why they want to be my friend, right? And at times we can briefly talk about certain things that we can have a discussion about, right? But in the end, eventually, the whole thing comes back up again, and I ignore them or I say something that somehow offends them because they just want what's best for me, and then they don't want to be my friend. And then later on, they say, "Well, yeah, but you're a good person." And then it's a continuous cycle, right? Things that you're not going to agree on, And if you want to save my soul, if you want me to find Jesus, right? If you want me to become religious and see your fucking vision of how things are, the real truth, the worst thing you can do, right, is in my comment section write things like, "We all fall short of the glory of God," or something that literally has nothing to do with anything that's being discussed or that I'm talking about, right? And not and saying that they understand that you used to believe, but why don't you believe anymore? And not just taking, well, I just think it's all bullshit, right? That's my opinion. If I'm wrong, I'm fucked, I guess, huh? Whatever. Um, the Bruins ended up winning 7-3 over the Panthers. It's almost playoff season, hockey. Remember, that's why I was wearing that hat. I wonder if Rosie O'Kelly's actually watching this show. That's probably a fucking troll or I don't know, somebody else. But because I don't think I've gotten that far into the RV community yet. But we are working covertly. We are working covertly to squeeze our way into that RV community to get some of Fat Elvis's fucking views, because he claims he puts out quality entertainment. Now, look, I have never claimed at all, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, I used to tell people, do not subscribe to my channel. There is no commercial potential, no value with this. This is just what I do for fucking fun, right? I entertain myself and hopefully entertain you. However, Fat Elvis thinks that what he does, sitting in his van and talking about people giving him money and begging continuously and sinking into piss bottles, is somehow quality entertainment. So I'm thinking to myself, fuck, Lobster, you've been better than this, So if that's quality entertainment, right? If what Fat Elvis does in the RV community is quality entertainment, right? Shitting on people and all that stuff, well, fuck me. Maybe you should offer your entertainment expertise of utter bullshit to the RV community. I mean, if that's the best quality entertainment they have, right? Then hey, sorry, and it's a shoe in for me. Oh, he blocked your account. He's such a fucking lost. Oh my god, he's funny to fucking watch. My wife gets more grossed out at him than even Von Helton now, because like that Hawaiian shirt that he wore that for like 6 days. It looked like he slept in it, Now I've slept in my clothes before and shit like that, but I think we all have it at one point or another. But you could tell it's like the shirt never fucking came off, and or that fucking yellow jacket that makes him look like a fat fucking banana. Now, I am not in any way, shape, or form criticizing people who are overweight or something like that, but Fat Elvis, he looks like a fat fucking banana. And his haircut, like I said, I got long hair. People, you can make fun of me and shit like that. But Fat Elvis, he's got this haircut that I think on a smaller head might work, but he's got this. It's like they put a small kid's haircut onto a big fat fucking head, right? Kind of like a big head with a small hat type fit, And then he's got these mutton chop thing. And now, if to me, and see, this is another thing. If you're gonna be like that, right? Then you need to do it right? Not just have fucking fucked up hair and mutton chops and tell everybody you're the best for business while you're shirtless with your hairy fucking chest and body and shaving yourself on camera and literally shitting on everybody because they don't pay your taxes and understand that you're what's best for business. You're a nomad and you're just a homeless guy in a fucking van because nobody in your family will have anything to do with you. He's got the same fucking excuses about life as Von Helton does, right? And he's nicer to people that give him a lot of money. He's nicer longer than Von Helton is. But because Von, you give him money. I mean, I've talked to people, right, that Von considers haters now. And just because they crossed Fawn, right, or they crossed Fat Elvis, I mean, it's some creepy fucking shit, But and when he goes into the fucking karaoke bars and shit, and he puts these videos up there, I mean, it sounds like a dead cow, like screaming for fucking help. I mean, it just sucks. I mean, he goes into a fucking Waffle House, right? Thinking that the waitresses and everybody's going to be like impressed by him. I'm a YouTube celebrity. There's my band out there. It's called Elisa Marie. You want to hear me sing? And then he starts singing Teddy Bear or some shit and fucked it up completely. I mean, and the waitress right off. I mean, first of all, the waitress is at work, right? It's a fucking Waffle House, right? But he claimed that he was just fucking. He claims that they were so impressed with him and shit, right? We didn't hear anybody in there like clapping or nothing like that, or talking to him. I mean, he sits by himself literally all the time, right? Walks around, he'll be in a parking lot somewhere with nothing around, right? Talking about how he's styling and profiling like Ric Flair and jet flying. I mean, first of all, I think they said he's afraid to fly. Or anyway, somebody paid for a flight last year or some shit. But the only time he gets to go anywhere, I mean, he relies on people like giving him money for gas, right? He shits on people that are on disability or can't do what he's doing, but at the same time still gets food stamps. And claims now, I mean, he's found Jesus. He's found God. He's our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He's born again. He tries to throw in some Bible stuff. And he throws in his Assyrian king shit and all this crap, and then starts telling people he's best for business. And he just, if he had a shtick that was like at least entertaining, I could understand, right? And some people, very few people, but some people actually find it entertaining. But when all you do is literally beg, right? And then if you don't, I mean, it's kind of like with a Von Helton hangout, right? I mean, Von Helton and Brett Keane, they are reduced to having circle jerks in Brett Keane's fucking room and immediately having, and the only people that can comment are people that have mods that, as Brett says, are cool people, and they want to talk about all this stuff, and they like to, and it's really funny that somebody who, like Brett Keane, who at one time when I first came on the internet, Brett Keane wasn't a God believer yet. It was towards the end of his atheism thing when he was begging for a lot of money, and a lot of people were tired of giving him money and then shitting on people because they didn't give him enough, or just whatever. He didn't use the money that, and when you ask for money for specific things on the internet, people will hold you to the fire for using that money for said purpose, right? That's why they gave you the money. And, he got a lot of times he got called bullshit. So turns out all of a sudden one day he was like, oh, the Christians seem to be the only ones nice to me anymore. They're helping me out. And that's pretty much when but he used to be, he used to have tons of subscribers, man. People used to like him. He used to be a big guy on the internet. He's the guy that got the Amazing Atheist started, right? The guy that taught him, and whether you like TJ Kirk or not, he's the guy that got TJ Kirk started or convinced him to start, right? Von Helton used to have over 12,000 fucking subscribers. He could have gone somewhere with that, right? But he's got a shit on literally everything, right? And then blame all of his problems on literally everybody except for the person that, I don't know, blame falls, and that would be him, because nothing could ever be Von's fault, right? His storyline, I guess you'd call it, because that's what it is. It's kind of like how I do videos. I just kind of throw shit up on a fucking storyboard start mixing shit around and putting stuff up and seeing if it fucking flies. You know, that's fun. He's a comic book. He's a fucking he's a combination of everything that he's ever watched that he admired, right, or want or strived to be in life, right? A sorcerer, somebody powerful, a womanizer, a crime fighter, somebody that people can't live without. He's the reason you're not speaking Russian right now. That really bugs the fuck out of me. And it does. It's just one of those things. It's like every time I hear him say that, or the fact that he's a disabled vet, right? I've all shown you they're actually not doing too bad today, but my hands are fucked, for lack of a better term, on so many levels. Wintertime sucks for me, right? Because if I'm outside, my hands hurt to the point where I can't move my hands, right? I have to have my hands in my pocket, down my pants, and my jacket, anywhere. Even with gloves, sometimes when it gets into teens or like even into the 20s, it sucks to be outside if you're me, because of nerve damage and shit like that. And other times, just bumping something sometimes will fuck my hand up, right? And I'll, it's almost like I'm in tears, right? So I mean, there's nerve damage and shit, but Vaughn, and it's not that I'm like I said, up until the time that Vaughn started this, him being a fucking Cold War vet and shit, I didn't really talk about that much for the most part, right? Or the fact that I go to the VA and shit like that, and I get veterans benefits, because Vaughn claims that all his, accolades and all of this shit, there's no fucking, there's no paper trail. The fuck does that even mean? Yeah, there is. As far as the paper trail goes, it's as far as you went. Bottom line, right? And he still clings to that. And he's still claiming he's gonna go get some fucking disability for his back or his hip or some shit like that, for the fact that, did you see him walk down his hallway? I mean, goddamn, 5'3" and 210 pounds. My ass. He's got to be at least 260, 280. I'm guessing probably closer to 275, right? Because he's, he claims that when you're middle age, you get that middle age spread. I'm 90 pounds lighter than I was 2 years ago, and I'm 5 years older than him. Not that I'm in the best shape or something like that. I just cut down on a lot of things that I eat and try to eat a little bit more healthy. But just the shit that he claims, the whole thing of yeah, 260 easy. Yeah, I'd go as high as to 270, 275. Yeah, he's a chunky little fucker. You see him, dress him up like a weevil. People think that I spend too much time on the internet. People think that this is all the fuck that I do. Well, to be honest, sometimes it is true that, there's times where I really don't have much to do. And I think of things to do. There's things sometimes that I'd rather be doing than being on the internet. But, some people think that, and see, that's why I actually brought Carl out and started, I usually just have the meme of Carl, right? And I don't talk to a lot of people, I stay to myself most of the time. I talk to people on the internet, things like that, but one day I decided, hey man, I'll make him my producer, right? And I've actually gotten comments from people that want to know if Carl can help him out. And I think they were serious, meaning the bear, not me. But I just Oh yeah! Don't forget to watch the Irv Helton Mandela's All-Star Extravaganza that Carl put out last night. It was fun. Yeah. Oh yeah, I put this on Facebook too, man. There's this guy in Warwick, right? He's a fucking funny-looking bastard, right? if I had Streamlabs, if somebody could fucking help me one day, please. You know, that I've thrown the fucking thing out. I need somebody to help me, you know. But so I can share more things. But turn to10.com out of Providence. Warwick man who admitted producing child porn gets 260 years in prison. Now you might say, well, that's a little bit stiff. Why didn't they just give him life? You know? Well, from what I understand, and I know some people have corrected me a little bit, but sometimes when you get life, that doesn't necessarily you're going to be in prison for the rest of your life. So if they add on a certain amount of years consecutively, concurrently, it kind of makes sure you never get out with an exclamation point. Boom. But this guy, right, the mugshot, holy shit. I'm looking at this guy. His hair's fucked up, first of all, which, okay, it's a mugshot, you know. But he's got this look, right? And he's got these glasses that, holy shit, they look like the old, almost like shop glasses, you know. He just looks like he's going to have a lot of fucking fun in prison. He's going to be a party favor, right? And if you go to it, you know, I mean, it's just, and that's, you know, you get these guys. I mean, I don't understand. Oh, there's another Chick-fil-A fucking article. That's the one that that's the one that was. Oh yeah, Pat Robertson. God told me there will be a Trump Towers in heaven, right? Well, you know, if Pat Robertson said it, that's got to be some legit shit, you know, because, yeah. See, they really think that Trump is some kind of gift from some prophet, right? Some of these people really fucking believe this shit, you know? I mean, not just, and I'm not saying that everybody that likes Trump, right, is like this, right? But he's the one that caught the fucking funding crowd, right? And Trump's, you know, he's grabbed onto it. He's grabbed onto it because that's his constituency. That's a big majority of his constituency are these fundies that love to talk about how Donald Trump is going to help through the end times and he's the prophet of God and the new Queen Esther. And I mean, there's all sorts of fucking shit going on, you know, where anyway. But let me see who posted. This is actually funny. Oh yeah, oops, I posted it. Actually, I shared it. It's a picture of that Cortez congresswoman. It says, "I hope the Electoral College gets beat in the NCAA tournament." And if you don't like, you know, you either got that or you don't. Here's another one: a defrocked priest who molested boys, right, now teaches English in the Dominican Republic at a private school. You know, tell me he didn't fucking find a way to get a new job, you know. And this isn't fake news stuff. This is from NBC. Oh shit, NBC is probably fake news anyway. God, I get tired of that shit. You know, if you hear something that's probably true, it's probably true. You know what I mean? And people, the first thing you go, it came from a certain source. Oh, it's fake news, right? People are yelling fake news all the time. People, you know. Anyway, let me see. Yeah, a former Roman Catholic priest who was defrocked and convicted of molesting two boys in New Jersey has found a new vocation in a new location, teaching English to children in a private school in this resort town. The former priest, Hudmills de Frias, 47, told the NBC reporter who tracked him down that he is no longer a threat to minors and also is claimed to be a bishop in the progressive Celtic church. Oh my God. Since he's been defrocked by the Catholic Church, now he's into the Celtic Church and stuff. And of course, you know, he's not looking for kids anymore. He's reformed. You know, we all know that, you know, once you get caught and defrocked and everything like that, and then you go to work somewhere else, you know, you learned your lesson. You know, as a priest of Frias, who was originally from the Dominican Republic, why is he teaching fucking English? Was assigned to St. Mary of the Assumption Church in Elizabeth, New Jersey, when he was accused of fondling two brothers, both under 14 in 2001 and 2002. Charged with sexual conduct. He pled guilty in 2004. but he gets defrocked, and in any fucking place, if you get defrocked or you lose your job, you get to register as a sex offender, you know, I don't think you should be able to be around kids in any country, right? But people have different laws and things are, and he did say he was sorry though. That was, so I'm sure that made up for everything. Let me see. And Trump got upset because nobody thanked him for giving McCain a funeral. God, and he really did, Charlie. Yeah, solar energy is bad because if the wind might not blow. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this lady. I love this lady. This article. I'm not sure if I read this before. On St. Patrick's Day, this lady, I think in Indianapolis, the thing's loading here. I think it was Indianapolis. She was passing out pot brownies or pot cookies, right, on Thanksgiving Day parade. Marijuana cookies at the uh, St. Patrick's Day parade. In in Wisconsin, right? And she's charged with drug delivery, and it's just so funny because the mugshot, she's just got this grin on her face. Looks like she's stoned as fuck and doesn't care. I just thought that was so fucking funny. She's just got this, like she doesn't care. Anyway, this is fun. Let's see what else we got here. Da, 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 da. Oh yeah. Lifeway, the largest Christian retailer store in the country, is closing all of its stores. Has anybody ever seen people in Christian bookstores? There used to be a big one when I lived in Oregon. I never saw anybody. There's a few like not too far from here that like Christian bookstores or religious stuff. You never seen, not that I'm there all the time or drive by, but I've never. It's just one of those places I've never seen anybody. Because I don't think people actually really read that shit. Yeah, some guy in New York City got arrested on felony charges for possessing 216 Venus flytraps. Right. Apparently, Venus flytraps are on some kind of protected plant list or some shit. He picked a bunch of them up and still had them growing, which is a feat in itself. But the funny thing is, when I was in school, when I was in high school, I was in a Future Farmers of America. We used to take agriculture classes. And we had this big greenhouse at the end of the school. Something else that schools don't have anymore is agriculture class, teaching kids about plants and animals and things. Well, I mean, if you live in a city, it's really probably no purpose for having like animal husbandry classes and stuff. But anyway, we had this, and we had horticulture classes and stuff, right? And we used to grow different things and stuff, and make a little bit of money for our projects and stuff. And so one of the things that people used to do was grow Venus flytraps, right? Because people would buy them, right? It was a thing, kind of like the pet rock back in the day, right? You never got that special backdoor altar boy blessing. Well, as far as I can remember, I never did either, Bozo. And if I did, I just don't want to know. Serious. Not making fun of people that did, but let's see. Yeah, Florida lawmaker that wants to put Bible classes back in schools. They just hate Christianity. They hate God. It's like, no, if you want to learn about Bible shit, go to church, join a YouTube group, go to Bible study at some communities, whatever the fuck you want to do, but it's got nothing to do with your education, I mean, fuck's sake. I would support teaching kids how to use an analog clock and write in cursive writing before I would tell them to before I'd approve Bible studies in class. Anyway, yeah. Holy shit, a West Virginia man found guilty in infant's rape, murder. Jury recommends no mercy. Abso-fucking-lutely. Crucify that bitch. Put him in a fucking blender and chop him up and feed him to the fucking fish. Oh, Kentucky governor decided to expose his kids to chickenpox. Have chickenpox parties, measles parties. What the fuck? I remember when I was a kid, kids still measles. We still had measles and chickenpox to an extent, not to the effect of people dying. But it was a thing. Kids got it. One kid would get it in school. Next day, boom, there'd be an outbreak or some shit. Over the years, you didn't hear so much about it. You'd hear somebody about getting it every once in a while or some shit. And I'm not saying that every vaccine, like I don't get a flu shot. I think flu shots are stupid, right? Because they can't get every fucking flu virus, and they always go, "This is the one for this year," And I don't agree with flu shots all the time, right? All the time, sometimes maybe, but the whole thing about not vaccinating your kids and stuff, right? That's some fucked up shit. Right? I don't give a shit if you're into holistic medicine. I don't give a shit what your religious preferences are. If it's against your fucking religion, right? If kids are vaccinated by measles, they still get the measles. What's the fact is, more reports of it now than there have been forever, right? For the longest time, chicken pox, people are dying from the fucking flu. People are dying from influenza. People are dying from People have died from getting the fucking chicken pox or the measles and shit, which is something that I didn't even know could happen as a kid because everybody got them. We got the vaccination. Jesus, it's so fucking crazy, right? When I see these anti-vaxxers, right? I get it. Big pharma, yeah, they're always trying to pump you full of something, right? That's why sometimes it's good to be honest with your doctor or something like that, but sometimes you can be too honest and fucking try to give you everything under the sun. So I get that. The vaccinations, probably have saved mankind, on so many levels, right? And to tell people that, that it's giving kids autism, like Jenny McCarthy. God, the first person I ever heard to come up with this stuff. Jenny fucking McCarthy, a Playboy model, right? Been in Playboy, I don't know how many times. She was the goofy bimbo type actress, sexy chick or something. It was on some shows and things like that. All of a sudden, she decides to become a mother, and all of a sudden, she's a fucking expert on autism because she said, well, her kid was vaccinated and got autism, and then became retarded or something too. And then when they stopped vaccinating, also the kid wasn't autistic anymore. Not understanding that that's not fucking how it works, right? And it just kind of ballooned from there, and there's certain vaccinations, right? I get it why somebody might not want to for whatever, but just the whole vaccine thing, right? I don't vaccinate my kids and stuff, right? Well, because fuck every other kid in the school, right? Because you don't like it, And then when the governor of a state, see, this is something when you get a bunch of these conservative fucks in there, they talk about liberals, right? And liberals want some fucking grandiose things and shit like that. But when you get these people that want things the way it used to be, I'm back for vaccinations and shit. We used to just slap a fucking cold press on the boy while he was sick or some shit, bringing Bible shit into it, bringing biblical bullshit into medical science, or your personal opinion into medical science when you're not qualified to make a decision. Don't give a fuck if you're a parent, or some shit. You're not qualified. You're not a doctor. I love it when people like to argue with their doctor. Right now, some doctors. Now, admittedly, I've had a couple of doctors in my life, and I think to myself, going, "I'll bet you got a C, huh?" For a number of reasons. Their lack of bedside manner. They're just I didn't like this type of person, But for the most part, if you don't have a medical degree and you've read some books, but hey doctor, I saw this on WebMD, what does this mean, right? You know, I looked up my symptoms, doc. I've got cancer. I've got this. I've got that. The doctor does all these tests, and they go, no, you don't. And they go, you're lying. You're holding something back from me, Same type people, right? Anyway, yep, the Kentucky governor admits to intentionally infecting his kids with chickenpox. Yeah, that's the state of Kentucky for you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Grampy Lobster. I hope everybody's had a wonderful time just fucking off with me for an hour and 45 minutes. Oh yeah, I went. I did my MRI yesterday. I was going to tell you guys. MRI. They said I might have a. Well, they wouldn't tell me anything because they said they're just the photographers. I was trying to ask them. Yeah, but you take a lot of pictures. Did you see anything? And they can't really say anything. So I'm supposed to be finding out pretty soon if I'm going to need surgery or just a whole bunch of fucking physical therapy and a lot of drugs, meaning pot. And because those pain pills don't do shit. They gave me Ativan. It's not a painkiller, I mean, I have no idea after the fact of why they gave me Ativan, right? It didn't do anything for pain, right? I mean, CBD ointment did, and that was literally the only thing. So, I mean, I'm not going back to my doctor saying, Doc, give me some more Ativan, But anyway, start therapy next month. Hopefully I won't need surgery. If I do, I guess I'm going to be walking funny and looking funny for a while. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Grampy Lobster. I would love to thank everybody for watching this. Mudbrucker, it's always a pleasure seeing you. Bozo, Charlie. Oh, there's stars in here. Hope everybody has a wonderful day. Or you know what? I gotta tell you, I've said this before recently. Apparently, it's really hard for some people to have a good day. It really is. No matter what they do, they just can't seem to have a fucking good day. It's too much fucking pressure. Too much pressure. So, I just tell people, that, have the best day that they can possibly make for themselves without too much pressure, and I hope that for you too. Until we talk next time, this is, oh goddamn, Carl's down. Carl found a beer yesterday. He's a lightweight. He's still sucking on that beer, And he's got a fucking roach clip, like he's looking at me. Carl's looking at me right now, like holding up the roach clip fucking joint. It's time to get off the fucking, it's time to get off here. It's hour and 48 minutes. That's right, Bozo. Let me be praised. Let me rules. Hope everybody has a wonderful day. Talk to you later. This is Grampy Lobster. Have fun.